Lawgivers. Topic of discussion today is who are called prophets. In my last video, I did a basic video explaining the upcoming videos that the OahspeCollegeUniversity will be posting. And in that video, I promised to do a video about DNA angels. And then right after that, I promised to do a video who are called prophets. I've uploaded the video about DNA angels, and in this video it tells you about angels who go about to people's family and inspire them to bring offsprings. Now, who are these offsprings? Oahspe describes them as seers, suis, and prophets. Now, I prefer to use the word prophet because as a prophet, then you should be able to see. Now, one fascinating thing about you to be able to describe a prophet is that prophet should be able to see clearly and be able to give you an accurate information without sugarcoating. In other words, the person should be able to see the human being as an open book. They should not have any wrong information about you, right? So, who are these prophets, and what did Oahspe describe them as? You got to read the Oahspe to get a clear understanding of who these prophets are. Now, I have come up with the pictures, and a special thanks goes to Brother Cosman to give me this portrait of these prophets. Now, in order for you to identify them, you got to go read the Oahspe. Oahspe gave clear description of who these prophets are. And they're also considered lawgivers. I just wanted to pull up a verse in the Oahspe for a minute that gives a true description of a true prophet. In the book of Cosmogony and Prophecy, chapter 9, verse 7. In the book of Cosmogony and Prophecy, chapter 9, verse 7. The true prophet has attained concordance, the vortexian currents of any. You see that? A true prophet is saying the vortexian currents of any and everything pass through him. He sees and feels with his soul. He is a perpetual register of everything near at hand. And if he cultivates his talent so as to estimate results from them, the future and the past are like an open book to him. You see how the Oahspe describe a true prophet? So if I go to a Christian church today, because I see a lot of this on YouTube and a lot of churches, temples, place of worship, and they call themselves prophets, they call themselves pastors, and they say God said this unto them, God said this. They give information about this person. If this person cannot give you a clear vision about you, about your past and your future, that is not a prophet. Now, don't get me wrong, they have prophets where they have familiar spirits that inspire them, and you have self-glorified gods. They also inspire pastors. A lot of pastors out there, prophets out there, are under inspiration of a Druidian god. And if you've not watched my video about Druidian god, you should go watch that. Again, special thanks go to Brother Cosman on Facebook, who gave me this portrait. I was going to use the black and white version, but I just wanted to put out there who are these prophets, because that's the topic of today. And I'm going to start with Zarathustra. Zarathustra is one of the prophets that the Oahspe described. Right after that, you've got Paul, who is also a prophet. You got to go with the description and what Paul did, also what Zarathustra did in the Oahspe. You've got Brahma. He is a prophet. And like I said, these prophets can see clearly. They can see spiritual things clearly. And they also have a host of angels assigned to them. In fact, Zarathustra was assigned a god. A god was assigned to Zarathustra. Right after Brahma, you've got, I'm sorry, this is Abraham. Um, this is Abraham. Right after Abraham, you've got Brahma. Orapsi describes Brahma as being a prophet. Right after Brahma, you've got Iwanta. Iwanta actually is from America that I live in today. Uh, Iwanta, when you really look at his history, when you read the Orapsi, he come about what the Republican doing back in the days they were called the Republican, but you know when you he established in North America. You got to read the Orapsi. This is a fantastic, wonderful prophet. He was able to see with his eyes closed, and that includes Abraham that I mentioned previously. Right after you have Capelia. Capelia was a prophet. After that you have Moses. Now Moses, majority, a lot of people are familiar with Moses, and the reason why is because the Christian Bible described Moses to a full length. The Orapsi also gives account of Moses. um, he Moses is a special one because he was able to hear the voice of the Creator. After Moses, we've got Chinne, and in which people popularly call today the country of China. That's Chinne, and he established what they call the country of China today. After Chinne, you've got Sakaya. That's a popular name, and he was a prophet. And all these prophets I'm talking about and mentioning actually served the Creator. You see, and they were called another name for them were lawgivers. After Sakaya, you've got Kanyu. Kanyu is popularly known today as Confucius. Kanyu was a wonderful, wonderful prophet. Amazing. He wrote a lot of books, in which afterward it was destroyed by the false gods. After that, you have the popularly named Joshua, which people wrongly call Jesus. Joshua was also a lawgiver. The account for Joshua was that he was stoned to death because of blasphemy. Uh, of course, the Christian Bible wrongly called him Jesus, and they said he was. They had. They didn't give the account that he was stoned to death, though. But the way they described him was that he was nailed on the cross, and after 3 days, he died. But you got to read the account of Orapsi about Joshua, and Joshua gives his name. Orapsi gives his name as Joshua, but people wrongly call him Jesus. But this was a lawgiver who came to the people of Israel, and you could call him an Israelite. I call him an Assyrian, but this was I have to say that Joshua is one of the prophet that was really misunderstood. But if you read the Orapsi clears the confusion about Joshua. Yeah, we have it. The lawgivers, the prophets that the Orapsi describe. It describes Zarathustra. It talks about Abraham, Iwanta, Po, Brahma, Chinne, Capelia, Moses, Sakaya, Kanyu, and Joshua. These are amazing prophets who can clearly see with their eyes closed. Some of them could hear the voice of the Creator. They didn't need a God to speak to them. While Some of them had God speak to them. And when I say God, I'm not talking about the creator. If you have not watched my video, I did a video about the difference between the creator and God. God is a title bestowed upon an angel. Angels attain to the level of God. These are the prophets, again in summary: Joshua, Kanyu, Sakaya, Moses, Kapilia, Chinye, Brahma, Paul, Iwanta, Abraham, and Zarathustra were the prophets described and explained in full length in the OahspeCollegeUniversity Bible. And finally, I'll go to the book of OahspeCollegeUniversity Tablet of Benin, verse 12, and it talks about Tai, and that's another name used for prophets. And OahspeCollegeUniversity Tablet of Benin, verse 12, it says Tai, a representative man, the universal prayer of mankind, also one who is chosen by Ethereal spirits for an earth cycle, as Zarathustra. You see that? Abraham, Brahma, Moses, Kapilia, Confucius is Kanyu, etc. I provided for the nations in their darkness, says Jehovah. For I bring the earth into a light region, into the firmament, and I send my ethereal angels to deliver them out of darkness and bondage. In my name raise up men with eyes to see and ears to hear, and I proclaim to all inhabitants of the earth. You see that? So this verse is just telling you that these prophets, their purpose was for them to bring a region of our world. The amazing thing about this was this: each of these prophets were distributed to each division of the earth, to each continent of each earth. While the Christian Bible didn't focus on just the Israelites. What happened to the other countries? Like what happened to Africa? What happened to India? You see? What happened to China? What happened to America? Who were these prophets in those countries? The Christian Bible doesn't mention them, but the OahspeCollegeUniversity captures it and talks about these prophets in different regions. And as you can see clearly in verse 12 in the tablet of Benin, it says these prophets are representative man. They represent the creator and give light and bring countries, regions, continent out of bondage. You see? And it says in verse 12, it says a representative man, the universal prayer of mankind, also one who is chosen by Ethereal spirits for an earth cycle, as Zarathustra, Abraham, Brahma, Moses, Kapilia, Confucius. I provided for the nations in their darkness. You see? But if you were to go to the Christian Bible, it only talks about one nation, the Israelites. It only talks about Israel. But the OahspeCollegeUniversity captures and gives information about all these prophets that were sent to different nations. You see? Like I said before, I said a few minutes ago, that Zarathustra, Abraham, Iwanta, Paul, Brahma, Chinye, Kapilia, Moses, Sakaya, Kanyu, and Joshua were sent to different nations, which represent certain regions in the world around that time. And they were under inspiration of true God. And also, for example, Moses was able to hear the voice of the Creator perfectly, clearly. So he didn't need a God to speak to him. Creator speaks to him directly. You see? Brothers and sisters, here you have it. Who are called prophets? These are the prophets described in the OahspeCollegeUniversity. In my next video called Libraries of Heaven, This will give you a description of what prophets can do, the capacity. They should have full of verses from the OahspeCollegeUniversity that tells you clearly that these prophets were able to see people as an open book. You see? Light and peace, brothers and sisters. Bye bye now.